Okay, so the poem to open our meditation with today is by Rumi. The translation is by Coleman Barks. It's called All the Hemispheres. As you listen, allow the words to course through your upright spine. Savor in every breath as you bring the sound through your ears, resonating through space. Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and bodies stretch out like a welcomed season onto the meadows and shores and hills. Open up to the roof. Make a new watermark on your excitement and love. Like a blooming night flower, bestow your vital fragrance of happiness and giving upon our intimate assembly. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside an equator in your heart. Greet yourself in your thousand other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home. All the hemispheres in heaven are sitting around a fire, chatting, while stitching themselves together into the great circle inside of you. Now, as much as possible, let the physical form of your body find peace and ease. As you observe and hold both qualities of heaviness through the seat, as well as lightness through the head. And perhaps in between the head and the seat, the breath expands outwards. Always come back to base if we find we get lost somewhere in a thought. Base of the body, root of the spine. An invitation to slowly scan from your base along your spine and seeing where perhaps we can invite more of these hemispheres of integration, whether it's thought, feeling, or more space, whether it's in the heart or the head. Space to be held, seen. And check in if legs and hands, arms could be even more weighted. Without necessarily adapting or changing the breath in any way. Trusting your own guidance to flow along the central channel. Perhaps feeling back of the neck smoothing out. Tailbone growing heavier. Crown of the head feeling lighter. An invitation to focus the inward gaze somewhere in between the eyebrows. And feel the breath move gently, flowing in and out through the nose. As your hands come together, perhaps thumbs resting to the chest. A few deeper, fuller breaths, noticing the range, scope, all phenomena taking place in you, in me. This me, this I of whole and complete awareness, fullness. And honoring that self residing in the heart of all beings. Om. Tat Tvamasi, that thou art. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Good greetings on our midweek Wednesday morning. Setting yourselves up for your day. I'm sure you have your busy worldly duties ahead. And I guess if anyone watches this recording in the evening, I hope it sets you up for whatever will come next. So let us come right away into a wide-kneed child's pose. And maybe you want to circle your ankles before going back. No rush. Check in with hands, feet, all the little limbs. And feel this journey of just relaxing your spine down. A couple of arm options. Sometimes hands up. Sometimes supporting the head can feel really, really good. Sometimes maybe bending your elbows and letting the hands come behind and toward the neck can feel good. And a moment of bowing in. Such a wonderful position to sort of say, okay, here I am for me today. Taking a moment to find the soothing, whispering tones of your breath. Perhaps drawing navel slightly up and back as we exhale, feeling just maybe even more of a press back through the hips. Then on the next inhale, roll up, round up. into a 4-point base. And we'll start to roll, circle the shoulders, hips over the knees, very lightly to begin with, almost feeling how the body is just floating on top of these little stilts of your long femur bones, the kind of long humerus bones. And just invite a little movement to the head, just a head cat-cow. We feel it into the throat, sides of the neck. We pad the hands. Then keep the head, belly, hips steady. Just do a chest cat-cow. We lower chest. Press it up. So now we isolate around the pec muscles, the upper back, front, insides, outsides of the arms. All the attention to the chest. Sometimes hard not to want the belly, the pelvis to come in. Build up our greater receptivity of all the sort of subtle, or little corners, pockets of the physical body we can get into moment by moment. Because remember, we come out of the head of a goal, a destination of getting to. As wise people, we know we are the goal, the destination. The seeker is the sought. So we can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. And now just the middle part, you might even find bottom ribs, navel, pubic bone, even just the belly, and then we can focus right down on tailbone area as well. Belly. Notice if your arms, you might even feel the arms have to bend the elbows slightly, scoop them in. Maybe the hands are getting tired. Feel free at any point to kind of readjust, pad the hands like a little cat. You might find you have this more space. You feel like, wow, you can barrel even more as we just relax. Naturally, the lumbar curve has more flexibility. And go ahead and just do tailbone. Tailbone, the sacrum, little, almost like small little flicks of the tailbone. And here you might have the urge to walk your hands maybe even further forward, give the chest a bit more space. And then we're probably dying to bring whole spine in. You might like to even widen the knees, widen the hands further. And start to open up fully through the spine. Fold and roll it all in. And bring to stretch through index fingers and the thumbs. Now turn the right wrist back, turn the right hand back, plug it in. You can reestablish any sort of weight there. Allow your fingers to stretch back, allow the weight of the body to shift back right into this joint. Release and change, and we'll take the left hand, turn the wrist, the fingers. It's even more of an invitation right up into the upper arm muscles and chest. Good. Now come back and sit on the heels for a moment, knees together as we lift the spine up and we'll roll the shoulders up, back and down. And a little bit of breath work here with shoulder shrugs. You take a deep inhale as you lift the shoulders and hold the breath at the top of the inhale. As the breath is held, draw the upper shoulder blades together. So the upper portions of in between the shoulders you can find. As you exhale, glide and slide upper shoulders down the back. Inhale deeply and hold the breath at the top as you lift the shoulders up to the ears. Now find the mid portion in between the shoulder blades, in between the rhomboids. Squeeze it together. Exhale, slide shoulders down the back. One more deep breath in. Holding the breath as you lift the shoulders high up to the ears. This time, the tips of the scapula, squeeze them together. And as we exhale, glide and slide shoulder blades down the back. Hands come out in front as we lift the hands, and then we bend the elbows. We find this little kind of shelf-like action of the upper arms forward. Begin to take the fingers behind the head, the elbows lift. Notice the ribs want to come forward. Try to slide them in and down. Now your fingers are just sort of grazing at the back of the neck. Back of the hands touch here. Take an inhale as we lift the back of the hands up and overhead. And then the fingers face out, palms out as we lower the hands down. Lots of subtle actions here in this arm movement. Inhale, coming forwards, elbows bend. Back of the hands slide, they touch. The fingers graze back of the neck. Pause here, you can exhale. Inhale, arms up and overhead. And when the hands get up top, you open the fingers out. 2 more times as we send the hands forward, bend the elbows, inhale. Fingers graze, back of the neck, back of the palms up. Inhale as you lift. Relax hands out to the side. A 2-part, there's an inhale here. You can exhale as the back of the hands meet and you graze back of the neck. And then inhale to lift. Hands up and overhead, release out to the sides. Now we can interlace the hands here. Let's climb up onto the knees, take the weight off your hips and seat. And even with the thumbs, we can press into the low back and just roll the shoulders a few times with the hands interlaced. Try to feel the skin maybe around the armpit area, the side waist, lifting up through the lower belly. And you go as far as you want when you sort of bring the knuckles back behind you. You feel this opening in the front belly, chest. Maybe opening the throat, chin stays slightly tucked. Breathing into the front body. Release the hands. Take a breath in as we swoop arms up and overhead. Maybe let the gaze lift. And exhale to come down. We bring the hands back to the mat. Walk them forward. Knees back. We lay all the way down onto the belly. Forearms under the shoulders. Let's interlace the hands here and make a good base with the forearms. Slide the feet back, release the toes. Press the tops of the toes down, tailbone down. Curl the head in, shin in, and begin to dome the upper back. We relax the head and neck, pressing into forearms, shoulders. Then feel the ribs lift. You might start to gently lift the front of the hips. Feel a little bit of core work there. Drawing the pubic bone up toward navel. Navel back to spine. Slowly release. Hands can be interlaced, or you might like to flatten the palms now. As we work the cat-cow action here in the Sphinx, long in the arm moves, working through the curves into the back. Pressing down through the fingers, wrists as we curl in, go steady. Feel the actions of the upper arms, outer arms, really lifting the chest up and in, letting the head relax. Maybe lifting the hips, feel that deep core active, maybe small tremors, lots of tremors. One more to relax the hips down. Guiding the ribs, chest in between the arms. Getting that nice stretch here for the front body. Really active legs still as you press the heart forward, tailbone back. And the slow dive in. Thumbs active, index fingers active. Maybe hold that little core curling in there as the hips slightly lift. Nice. Lower down. Reach for the left foot with the left hand. The right fingers go forward. Come to tented fingers, right hand. Reach back through right toes. And begin to lift up with the body. This half bow. Just feeling the shape and space. Gaze can be slightly down, beyond the nose, maybe forward and up. As you stretch back through both legs. Little base of the right hand. Feeling the ribs, and only go to the place where you're not overly stressing anywhere in the body. Lower it down. Soften. Left fingertips forward. Breathe through the transition. Right hand to the right ankle. Stretch back through the left toes. Begin to rise up as you press the foot into the hand, feeling the chest coming forwards, chest opened. Find the space around pubic bone, navel, up to the throat. And just go to the place where it feels opening for the body. We're not overly stressing. So even if you're lower to the ground, feeling in between the vertebrae. Oh, gently relaxing. You can make a pillow here with the hands, forehead resting down. You always lift the feet, circle the ankles. I always like to clap the insides of the feet together and work those arches of the feet. As we lower the feet back down, now we have the choice. Let's come to the forearms. And then we tuck the toes, we come up onto the knees. So we come to the forearm dolphin prep, measuring the distance here for the upper arm, elbows underneath the shoulders. I always love to, even before we lift the hips or lift the legs, relax the head in space. And here as we relax the head, breathe into the upper shoulders, upper back, feel the chest switch on. As you send the ribs away from the shoulders, relax the head a little more. Now tuck the toes, press down through the elbows, forearms, and slowly lift your pelvis up and back, continuing to relax the neck and the head. At any point it gets too much, you lower down to the knees and feel the prep again. Strong press back through the legs. Dolphin, so good. Feel the fingertips, wrists, You might have that buckling in the wrist, that's normal. How's the breath? Keep spacing through the ribs, hip creases, up and back, in thighs, in the bones of your feet. Put a little bend in the knees. And then knees to the ground. Back to child's pose. Maybe the arms come alongside the body. You can just rock left to right. Now you can choose. You can come back through dolphin or down dog. If you come through dolphin, always set up holding the elbows. If you're coming to down dog, nice stretch of your arms forward. And then simultaneously we lift the hips, feeling the shoulders wrapping across the back body, head relaxing. Ultimately getting the long spine, whether we're on forearms or hands, round to tail, stretching, spreading the ribs. And make our way into a forward fold. So little walks of the feet forwards to meet the hands. Slide the hands under the feet. Ardha Hastasana. You might open the legs a little wider than hips distance. It takes a moment. It's like a bit of a challenge sometimes for the shoulders and the head. You find the grip of the toes onto the hands, pressing down. Then relax the head. Get a sense of the shape in space. In the front of the chest, drawing in, chin toward the chest. Letting the hands release out. We'll roll up to stand. Squeeze your feet into the mat. Outer hips coming in. Belly lifting. We arrive. Shoulders relaxing. Arms relaxing, maybe circling the wrists. Feet under the hips, arms coming out wide. Feeling the spread across the chest. Breath in, exhaling, tailbone relaxing down. And inhale to raise the arms up and overhead. Feel the side body lengthening. Taking a hold of your left wrist, right index finger and thumb, relaxing the left shoulder down. So you kind of just really let the side of your left ribs relax down. And then send your weight into, or heading over to the right. So the hips are going left. You might look under left shoulder. You can always look down toward the right heel. Maybe once or twice to just change that little turn of the head, looking under left shoulder. And down toward the right heel. Let's relax arms by the side. Hands come back out wide as we feel the spread across the chest, fingers active, thumbs up. Finding the breath in here as we feel the feet, tailbone heavy, crown of the head reaching tall. Press down to the feet, inhale as arms lift. Finding the right wrist with the left index finger and thumb. And even before we go to the side bend, feel the front of the chest, back of the ribs, relaxing down. Head feeling weightless in between your upper arms. Take a deep breath in. Hips go to the right as you sort of take your upper body on that journey over. You can look down to the left heel, let the neck relax. Inhale to spiral up with the head, looking under the right arm. And a few times just to relax that gaze, relax the chin. And up again. Feel what's happening in the pelvis, in the feet. It's up through the inner legs. And then come back to center and relax the arms. Standing toward the top of your mat. Inhale to sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, empty the belly, relax head and space as you fold into Uttanasana. Halfway lift, lengthen lower back, strengthening chest opening. And then ground the hands back to a plank pose. Heels are going back, crown of the head forward. We can shift our body weight slightly forwards and back here. Pulling the legs in towards center, upper arms to center. Then guide the knees to the floor and lay all the way down. Hands moving forward, fingertips past the shoulders. Lift the kneecaps, tuck tailbone, and then start to scoop the chest in between the arms. It's kind of low traction style cobra. Retuck the tailbone and get more space between the ribs. Feel your spine in between the rib cage, lengthening out through the head, elbows hugging in. And your deep breath. Feel the toes. Once again, lengthen tailbone back. As if we wanted to send the heart through the arms. And lower down. Framing the ribs, either to a child's pose, a down dog, or setting yourself back up on your forearms for dolphin. Eventually we lower to the knees, sit back on your heels. And we'll come and lay down. 1 second. The battery's going to go there. Very not used to the technology thing again. We'll actually come and lay down onto the side body. So extend your left arm and resting the head into the upper arm. You can prop up on the hand there. Take a moment to feel the ribs, your left hip, how the breath is moving. And that can always take a moment to kind of get a sense of the bones in this kind of awkward shape onto the ground. You can start to bring the right foot up the inside of the left leg. Maybe we hold the big toe. This might be where you stay. Feeling that downward quality through the left ribs, right leg. You can always put a bend in your left knee. A little bit of navel to spine, tailbone away from you. Then maybe you extend up through the right leg. And you go steady to begin with. It's a lot of balance here. For some people, relaxing the head in the upper arm can be a bit more stable, letting the head relax. So seeing how your body is working through the shape and this sort of new territory of imbalances. Eventually, right hand beside the heart, leg coming back down. We roll onto the back and we can just take a moment on the spine before the other side. Any little movements. And then reach your right arm back, roll onto the right side body. Either head relaxing in the upper arm or propping it up in the hand. And feel your right hip kind of tucking under. Lengthen the right ribs. And draw the left leg up the inside. Spread out through your right foot as well, basing here. Catching a hold of the left big toe, go steady. Work with breath. And just working with extending the legs, slow to begin with. You really have to squeeze in through the outer hips. And it's interesting how these wobbles come in just very quickly. New time, just remember, no goal, it's not necessary to straighten the leg, but just to really feel the body working in the shapes. Oh, you can let that go. Roll it all back onto the back body. And draw the knees in, hold the ankles for a moment. Really clasp your hands around these lower joints here in the body. Get a little bit of air between the toes. As you roll the pelvis side to side. You can lift the tailbone off the ground. Allow the knees to come together. And just circle the knees around the belly, around the chest. Maybe now you can even try and squeeze or get a little pressure in between the shoulder blades. Back of the neck, long chin folding in. And then taking what you need to get a little moment to relax completely. Oh, the early morning body is always so interesting. This waking up of everything, these little moments of checking in. To be warm here, good to be relaxed. And just see how these words again from the great poet Rumi can sink in and warm your heart and mind. All the hemispheres. Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and body stretch out like a welcomed season onto the meadows and shores and hills. Open up to the roof. Make a new watermark on your excitement and love. Like a blooming night flower, bestow your vital fragrance of happiness and giving upon our intimate assembly. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside an equator in your heart. Greet yourself in your 1,000 other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home.
All the hemispheres in heaven are sitting around a fire chatting, while stitching themselves together into the great circle inside of you. A place where no fear, no sorrow, no limitations can ever touch. Put that into your day, beautiful friends, dear Caroline, dear Hannah, anyone who watches this recording, all the love, blessings, Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.